time, we'll call this meeting of the Warren County School Board to order. I want to welcome everyone here who's joining us. Can I get a motion to accept tonight's agenda?
Make a motion.
Second by Mr. Colwell. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Colwell.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion for approval of tonight's consent agenda?
Motion.
Got a motion by Ms. Bates, second by Mr. Zeckman. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on, public comment. Before we move on to public comment, I'd like to read the board policy that describes how our meeting should be conducted in regard to public input. Appearing before the board, individuals desiring to appear before the board must submit a written request with descriptive material of the office to the Director of Schools 2 business days before the meeting. If the request is approved, the Executive Committee, the item will be placed on the agenda. Individuals placed on the agenda will be recognized at the beginning of the meeting and given time to speak with their topic of interest addressed on the agenda. There will be a public comment period for each meeting with actionable items on the agenda, with the exception of teacher disciplinary hearings. Comments shall be limited to topics listed on the agenda. The total public comment period for the agenda items, as well as requested to add to the agenda, shall be no more than 30 minutes. If an individual wishes to address the board on an agenda item, he or she shall sign up the form provided before the beginning of the board meeting to request time to speak. As a board, we are committing to serve the people of Warren County and our school system. This policy is in place in order to offer the opportunity for citizens to speak about policy issues. We have a member of our community that has asked to speak about a policy proposal, and she will be allowed to do so. Any other comments to speak will be out of order and not allowed. As always, anyone wishing to speak to any board member may do so at an appointed time outside of this meeting. Mrs. Morgan, you have been given permission to address the board, and the expectation has been set forth that your comments should relate to policy and refrain from speaking about individual students and personnel. And at this time, you are recognized and will have 3 minutes to speak, and we appreciate you coming out tonight.
Sorry, I'm nervous. I'm not a public speaker. School board members and Dr. Swallows, good evening. Let me first say that I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you tonight. As stated, my name is Tiffany Morgan. I'm a realtor, a substitute teacher, a Warren County school parent, and an 8-year Warren County cheer mom. Anyone who knows me knows that I take pride in these children. I have many Mama Tiff babies. I love being with them, cheering them on from the stands, filling up my car seats with extra kiddos, showing my support at various school events, donating to their causes monetarily, being a mentor, offering extra mom support when it's needed, and going to battle for them when necessary. As many of you may know, TSSAA sanctions many sports: basketball, football, soccer, track, wrestling, even bowling. What is not sanctioned, however, and is not even considered a sport, but rather an activity, is cheerleading and dance. If you have ever been a cheerleader like myself, or even the parent of a cheerleader, you know that this is silly in and of itself. These young men and women put their bodies on the line. Their tumbling and stunting skills are difficult, strenuous on the joints, muscles, and tendons, and it is undeniable that they are athletes. Because cheer is not sanctioned by TSSAA, participation guidelines are to be set by each school administration. As cheerleading is one of the only co-ed sports or activities, as TSSAA calls it, I'm here today to propose a new policy for Warren County cheerleading, stating that each cheerleader will wear the uniform that is appropriate to the sex listed on their birth certificate from here on out. These children who try out for cheer work hard to earn their spot on the team, just as basketball players, football players, etc. They look forward to wearing those uniforms. It means something to them. They take pride in it, as they should. Please put this new policy in place for future teams. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan. All right. We'll move on to student advisory report.
All right, we have members of our student advisory. Y'all take your rightful place on the podium.
Good evening, and I'm Annabella Colwell, and I'm Bethany Madera. Starting out with sports news, First, we have that our JROTC Lady Raiders earned the U.S. Army JROTC Rope Bridge Champions for the 2023-2024 school year. Next, we have these rank the 5th best male Raider team in the country. This is the highest ranking so far in this team's existence at this school. We also have the 6th best female team in the nation. This was also the best female ranking in the team's existence. JROTC Leadership and Academic Bowl teams advanced to the second round of national competition in February. The battalion is participating in wreaths across America. On December 16th, cadets will place wreaths at the veterans' graves for this holiday season. Now for club news. FFA is sponsoring a tree decorating contest for the advisory classes. From Ms. Leffler, the annual talent show is scheduled for Friday, December 15th, 7 to 9. The top 10 will perform on Monday, December 18th at school. From Beta, 39 Beta members attended National Beta Tennessee State Convention. They brought home 9 state awards. From Ms. Dyer and Ms. Matheny with Student Council. Student Council will be selling tickets this week outside of the cafeteria for $2 with drama pants for Pioneers Day on December 8th. This event will help raise funds for Pioneer families who endure emergencies. From Ms. Oxley. Students in advanced computer applications passed their industry certification for Microsoft Office Specialist.
So we had our student advisory meeting on Friday, this past Friday. We met with Mr. Dunn. Recently, I was accepted into the Tennessee School Board of Education Student Engagement Council. So basically, I meet virtually with 13 other juniors and seniors. We meet from November to December, and we basically talk about policies in our current education system, and we basically give student feedback. Our new student advisory members will be recommended by a faculty selection in January. Our new key fob system may be installed by the end of the school year. We still don't really know a schedule on that. We had a couple questions about the next year's school year. Mr. Dunn said there are going to be more meetings to follow. We asked about bringing back ACT courses. This would be an awesome chance for kids to be able to raise their ACT scores. A teacher had a question about pizza sales on Fridays and where the profit goes. After our meeting, Ms. Ankers later found out that these profits are dispersed evenly through DECA, which is a marketing club in our school, and through the school's general funds. We talked about getting new microwaves because we desperately need them. And then Mr. Dunn told us about some cosmetic updates that we have in our main office. And that's all. Thank you. Okay.
Any questions for these ladies?
Congratulations on
That's great, it's quite an honor, thank you all, thank you all. What about the ACT prep course, Dr. Wallace?
Do we have it in front of them? No. Okay, well, never mind, we're gonna do it right here, all right? So, I'll go through it, and David, you correct. We'll just also add that we're glad David's here with us. He's had some sickness with us over the course of the last month, and glad to have him back and up and working. First, middle school parking lot. If you've been by Warren County Middle School, you've seen that the paving and striping and actually the sod has been laid. I was there today, and every time I drive by it, I'm just so thrilled with the way that that's improved the front entrance. I know some of you don't subscribe to that theory, but the new front entrance to Warren County Middle School. And so we are still waiting though on the material that will go in front of the dumpsters and around the side. That has been ordered, if I'm right, but we don't have any update on timeline about when it's going to happen.
The final drawings and submittals has been made to the manufacturer, but again, like you said, we don't have an actual timeline on when it's supposed to be shipped and received.
Yeah. The roofing at the auditorium is complete. We're waiting on the final closeouts, and we'll be finished with that project. Centertown Elementary, you want to talk about a project that has moved extremely quickly and well. We're very pleased with that. David's reported here that units are being set and painting's being done, windows are being installed. And again, very pleased with the progress on that project. If you, of course, now that it's dark, when you drive up, you can't see the progress that's being made on the extension of this building. But we do have a roof line now with some temporary roofing up there. We are hoping that they are going to get that roof dried in so we can get some work done in the winter months. So
I did notice today, Grant, that they started covering some walls today, so they're trying to get it dried in.
yeah, so we're excited about that. It's not moving as quickly as we had hoped, but I guess you got to take the good with the bad. It's moving quick at Centertown and maybe not as quick at here. So, any questions we from members of the board be happy to answer, or have David answer.
Speaking of the middle school, the sod, I think the last time we talked about, when I first saw the sod, when it looked like it was barely hanging on to life. What did the contractor agree to replace the sod, or
Well,
what was the deal on that?
They did, but what they've done is, everybody thinks that it's good and green now, which it is, but what they done was they sprayed some fertilizer on it.
Okay.
It's actually green fertilizer, which made it look green, but
Oh.
with the weather and everything, the moisture will get that into the grass, and it should come on out.
So it's viable the way it
Yes,
is?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, one way or the other, if they replaced it or if
Yes, they
brought
did
it back
agree
to life.
that, if they couldn't bring it back, that they wouldn't replace.
But I agree, it looks great. I mean, whatever name you want to put on it.
All right, that wraps up facilities and resources. Thank you.
All right, moving on to operations report. Turn it back over to Dr. Swallow.
All right, thank you. We're going to discuss the WCHS Teen Court proposal to begin with. As a part of our agenda, we are happy to have Judge Ryan Moore and Barry Dishman with us to discuss anything. Obviously, you remember this was discussed in our last meeting and tabled until this meeting so that we could have some more information. I also want to recognize Robin Phillips, who's done quite a bit of work on this. So I will just yield to you and let you start that, or we'll recognize them and let them discuss, however you want to do that.
Okay, well, I can start and be real quick and then y'all finish up. How's that? So we had asked, because I think y'all said you liked the idea, but we wanted to see, what the parameters were, and, make sure we had some safeguards in place to make sure that the students that were being, I guess, adjudicated, it's an advisory, but we're hearing their cases, would be protected from confidentiality, et cetera, and also the students involved in that, we didn't want them to be in a situation that might not be manageable. And we've done a little bit. They have provided an oath of confidentiality, which acknowledges, that they can be kicked off the teen court should there be any breach that they sign, and they're, I'm sure, going to go over that, in detail. That is, I think, one of the things that y'all were the most concerned about, as well as me, because I think that is a big consideration. But they've addressed that. The other thing that we talked about was a conflict of interest, or an assurance that there was no conflict of interest for any of the panels. When they are on a panel, a specific case comes to them, that they would be able to know, but prior to being a decision maker on that, or an advisory decision maker, that they didn't know the person already, they didn't have some bias, or they hadn't had a past experience with that type of a offense that would cause them not to be able to be neutral. So I developed that form. I have sent it today, so I want to make sure that they've not had a huge chance to look at it, but I think everybody's okay with it. If not, we can work between us to make sure that is suits everyone. I think that y'all all have this form in front of you. So this would, at the top, it just basically lets people know what the form is. You'd have to put the case number and the style of the case. That means the state of Tennessee versus whatever the defendant's name is. And then because that doesn't name everybody who might be involved in that case, prior to them hearing it, they would need to fill this out as best they can. Sometimes you don't know all of that, but if they do that, then the student should be able to look at it and make sure that they don't have anyone in that group that is a relative of theirs, past relationship, current relationship, all those things. And so then they would choose one, either an assurance that they are free from conflicts of interest or bias for or against all of these different individuals. Or they would say that they do feel like they have a conflict of interest, which could either make them not be able to be neutral, or could lead a reasonable person to infer that it could affect their ability to, be neutral in that case. And if they choose that box, then they can put a description of that under it, like they're my first cousin, or they're my old girlfriend, or we don't like each other, or whatever. And then they would sign it and date it, and that would just help us rule out those situations. And with those two things, and I'm sure some training on what is expected of them, I would feel comfortable with that, if y'all are. I mean, obviously it's your decision. They did also let us know which offenses that this group would be hearing. And as you recall, this is a voluntary program for students. In other words, they don't get assigned this. This is, if you choose, they would have to sign permission, and then it would go to this alternate team group for them to hear and maybe provide advisory opinion. Judge Moore, still the judge, he would still enforce that. And should they choose to go that route, my understanding is that they could, avoid maybe some other probation or that type of thing if they successfully complete. I'll let him speak to that. But they did give us a list. Did we share that list with the board? No?
You want from last month?
The list of things that they were going to.
It was in our packet last month.
No, well,
Did you have a new revised one?
we do have a new
okay.
revised
That's
one.
two
It
more.
was. It was.
It was very in-depth. Wasn't it very long and lengthy?
Well, there was.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Well, it's not as involved anymore, and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to find it on my phone because,
Robin,
Oh, do you have it?
Well, it was in my packet. We've
Okay.
been in court all day.
well, you go ahead
And I-
and talk about that
Okay.
then. I think that's probably something that they would love to hear from you on anyway, so I'll defer to
Well,
you.
that's a great synopsis, and as Robin said, the administrative office of the court is encouraging alternative dispute resolutions for juveniles. The purpose of juvenile court is not punitive, it's rehabilitative, so anything that we can do to get these youth on the right track before any type of sentencing, as far as being committed in the state's custody, that's what we want to do. And our studies have shown at the AOC, students that are adjudicated by their peers are less likely to reoffend, and they have a little bit more respect for maybe their peers than they would a judge, And again, as Robin said, this is voluntary. The student and the parent both have to agree to have their cases heard by teen court, and I promise you that we'll screen teen court very thoroughly. Mr. Dishman has been doing this for a long time, and anytime I'm at juvenile conference, I have judges and YSO and directors of juvenile court say, "Oh, you must know Barry Dishman. I mean, he's a legend in this." We used to have teen court when Judge Ross was here, which was before my time. So Mr. Dishman can tell you how all the specifics works. This is my first time to do it, so, and I appreciate you all supporting it and giving it a chance.
Well, I know you have a long agenda, and so I'm trying my very best to be brief, but just to kind of clarify what we're trying to do, this is, if you would, like a Law 101. We're not asking a bunch of students to come over and do part of our job. That's just not the intent of this whatsoever. If you think about it, in your chosen profession, why did you learn how to do that? And we're such a closed shop, we don't have a lot of visitors sitting there that observes the court process. And so years ago, when Jimmy Haley taught over there. We did this, and I think it was a good eye-opening experience for a lot of the children. It sparked an interest, if you will, in law, and we actually had some people go on further to become lawyers. Everything we do in juvenile court, as Judge Moore said, we proceed with an abundance of caution. I assure you, we're not Metro Nashville. Things have gotten so bad in Metro Nashville, the police don't even come to you. You self-report online if you've been a victim. I will not be a part of the Warren County court system when that happens. You know, we choose these cases, again, with an abundance of caution. We bring these in, we talk with the children, we go over, you know, children talk. If y'all don't realize it, their network is so much more successful than all of ours. Everything goes on at the school is known in 4 or 5 minutes. It's old news, we won't discuss it, but they do. So the fact of where, you know, them talking outside of court or whatever, I really don't think that's an issue. I don't think that we're going to be doing assaults. We're going to look at some minimal things. Bill was just talking about, you know, we've been doing these safety summits. Mr. Bennett was there. Several of us have been there. Vaping is the big issue. We don't know how to address it, so maybe, and we're willing to try anything, if coming from their peers, they're more reluctant to use that type of substance, or maybe we could pull somebody in that could provide some testimony. This is what happened to me. I've had little children that are 15, as rough as cobs, that ride horses and thrown across, you know, cry and say, I hit this thing twice, and I thought I was going to die. So, you know, things like that might be beneficial to these children. But we're going to, first of all, I'm going to screen them at intake before it ever goes any further and see if anything's appropriate. We're going to, it's at best, I want these children just to have a good look at the court system. And Judge Moore and I have talked about this a bunch. They could come in on Tuesdays and observe. It's an open court. Their involvement or hearing of what's going on in juvenile court is going to be extremely limited because we just don't do that. It's confidential what we do. It's really difficult. But I just want to assure the board we're not going to put any student in any position to be in any peril. You know, it's never going to be our intent. We'll screen this, and then we're going to reserve the right if something. Basically, consistency is the only thing that saves us there. So most of our sentencing is done. You know, I heard something the other day from some student, but I want Jarvis to get the same sentence I do. You know, just the end of story. Regardless of circumstances, if we're both vacant, I think we should get the same punishment. And so we have reserved the right to pull the cord. Like, okay, we're going to cease, and this is going to go back before Judge Moore. We seem to have a problem here. You know, but I want to say that we done it 10, 12 years without any difficulty.
I know that you did it on, or we did it on student offenses. I did not realize it was associated with the.
Well, they charged them
juvenile
with
court.
unruly. They charged them with theft at Walmart. Walmart kind of switches, you know, 6 months they'll charge people that are under 16. Next 6 months they won't at all. So it just varies. But we had a lot. I remember when Bobby Pink was first SRO, we had a lot of unruly offenses, I think. Principal Bennett remembers several of them. It gets where their behavior got to the point where we had, and I think that was probably more effective as far as they would have, it seemed like we had 10, maybe 15. If we had 10 or 15 behavioral offenses in the school that took all their corrective action, we hadn't had any degree of success, they'd file an unruly and come to court, and then they actually talked with their peers. And we normally didn't see them. I think it was quite effective. Just have, like, it's just a jury of your peers. But we're not, they are. And
Right.
so that was the whole point. We just want to open the minds and encourage the children to do well.
So I appreciate you both being here. I have pulled up what Robin's referring to. This teen court will see the types of referred cases: assault, burglary, petty theft, vandalism, forgery, disorderly conduct, traffic offenses, truancy, violation of curfew, and unruly. So again, this is a full program, and by policy, you all as a board have to approve that program. And so we want to make sure that we're able to answer any questions that you have before you approve. But as an agenda item, you would need to take action on that, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, since I've moved for postponement for tabling pending further study and these amendments to the policy, I'm going to move for adoption of the policy on the
club.
It's a club. It wouldn't be a policy.
Approval of the club.
Yeah, approval of the club.
We got a first got an approval by Mr. Zachman. We got a second.
Second.
Anybody got any discussions?
I will say what Judge Moore said and Mr. Dishman about, and I was not aware of that, and thank you for bringing that to our attention, that students who are cases adjudicated by their peers are less likely to reoffend. Is that what you said, Judge?
Yes.
Barry?
Certainly.
I think that's impressive. There's something at work there, and I think we need to take hold of that. And if that's effective, then yeah, I say let's go with it.
And kids are enjoying the more hands-on programs, like they have a moot court that's very active and does a lot of work too. So this just sort of helps with those, you know, I guess, career exploration areas to where, I mean, if I'd known what it was like to be a lawyer, you know, when I was in school, may or may not. I probably would.
Either way,
But it is
Really.
nice to get some
Yeah.
practical experience when you're still, you know, looking around. So it'll be good for the kids, and I think we like it. We just wanted to make sure that we had a discussion about those
Certainly,
specific
but if you
things.
would, as far as the assault, forgery, burglary, those are
Okay,
felony offenses. We're
That's
not
the
gonna.
That's the
ones
ones I.
No, that's the state of Tennessee for you.
Okay.
If they let them handle them, they would be happy with how they handle them, you know,
Yeah.
okay, so assault and burglary, you're not gonna.
and forgery.
Okay.
Felony charges, we handle those completely different manner.
Okay, perfect. Thank
Anybody
you.
else got any more discussions?
Well, and could we amend it to add vaping to the list?
I thought it was
Is,
on the list.
is
I'm
vaping
not
on
sure if
It's
it
not
was.
specifically
I
on
thought
that
so.
list, I didn't see.
I don't know that
Which
But well, I think we should
it is, it's a
specify.
status offense.
tobacco.
So-
You could do the tobacco
tobacco.
vaping. The marijuana's a little different since we do have board members that part of our safety center had 15 had to go to the hospital for medical treatment last school year.
I would welcome an amendment, a motion to amend my motion.
I think, again, you're just accepting the club
Yeah.
as general, and then we would work with them on the offenses, because even Mr. Dishman said he would be the purview over that. And so I think as long as we have an understanding of what that is, you are as a board approving that club.
Yeah, but vaping would be one of the included.
I think she can put that in the board, Dina, you'll put that in the board minutes, and then we
Yes.
can, go ahead and approve that, and then, you know, if we need to, I don't know how complicated that is with the DA, I don't know. That's for y'all to decide, so
Well,
y'all
we
can
can
let us
handle it.
know
I
what you
just want to
think.
say, as far as the school board, Judge Moore we're kind of way out there on punishment as far as vaping. We have pushed it as far as we can because we see it as a major problem. We're doing we're way above the other. A lot of your neighboring counties, they don't even come to court for vaping.
I don't think our school sponsors here, but how soon would this be implemented, you think? Would we be able to get this school year, or? would
She
it be-
asked for it to be done, like, they wanted to do applications in December for starting in January, and we had to postpone that, but I'm sure they
Okay.
want to start
The sooner the
maybe
better, I think. I'm
next
ready to do it.
semester.
All right,
Schedule.
any more discussion over the, all right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thank
We
you.
excused.
Good
We
job.
didn't get to leave today, so we
That's right. Thanks a lot.
good.
So
Thank you all.
our school spotlight is next on our operations report. We're happy to have Mr. X Crabtree, who's the principal of Eastside Elementary. He's going to give you a quick update about what's going on at Eastside. Mr. Crabtree, please.
I'm glad to be here. I appreciate the opportunity to brag on our school. Kind of broken down the kind of building and student successes here with our building. Of course, we were in that building project phase the last couple of years. That's all completely finished. I know most of y'all been out there and saw the new office area, the new conference room, the 4 new classrooms. Greatly appreciated, greatly needed. So that's all completely finished. Our paving project as well around the front and the side to the back, it's all completely finished. One of the things that we talked David here to do for us as well in front of our gym. Our lines were getting a little faded at times, so now that's all been restriped for us as well. So you come out there now, we look a little different than we did a couple years ago, and we're all about beautifying the place up as much as we can. Definitely appreciated. One of the things we wanted to do inside our building, we have 2 of the rooms that are the most visited, visible. The cafeteria due to different meals we have and our gym. Over the years, I feel like our cafeteria, they've done a great job on that with the stuff on the walls, the booths, things like that. Our students tend to really enjoy that. So I want to get the gym looking good as well. So we spent a little bit of money there that we raised in our fall festival. This was kind of a planned thing. We've got new curtains up. If you come up there now, as soon as you walk in, boy, we're pretty when you walk in. It's good there. We got the big new curtains up. We got new pads up on the front. Even as you walk in, the column curtains are as well for underneath the bleachers. So that was something we felt like was duly needed. Our just other stuff was just outdated. The curtain we had, it served a purpose, but it was time to be replaced. We also spent on some school money painting some walls and everything, so it's brighter when you walk in there and everything. So that was something that we felt was very important for us. So now when we have ball games, different assemblies, Veterans Day, graduations, it looks very, very well in there and everything. So that's something that we're really working on. And it's going to be a focus even as we move on this year with this current fall festival money. We're going to be trying to get a few things, some little paint here and there, some picnic tables. We're trying to really make it all look good and everything, so we're excited about that. We also, there in the gym, I guess we're trying to keep up with the big dogs. We got some brand new scores table as well and everything, so it looks good when you come out there. And you know, the whole adage, I guess, as a ball coach, you know, you look good, you feel good, you play good. So we're trying to look good and be good at everything we do out there. Our goal is to be the best in the county at everything that we do. One of the things that we've been approved for from the McMinnville New Rotary is we've been approved for a greenhouse. That is something that we're excited about. We're still kind of waiting on final details. We're looking at putting it on the back side of the gym there where it's already paved. So that is something that we feel like, again, we're in the nursery capital of the world. You know, I grew up in, of course, small county, so ag was a big deal for me. I feel like this is a good thing that we can bring to our kids. Already got several teachers excited for this opportunity. Also, one of the things that when I took over at Eastside, I was real big on is technology. We now, radios, school radios, we have those, everybody in the building has one, even all of our assistants. That was something I felt was very important for communication. We've also, with this year's kind of federal money, we're waiting for them to come in, but once all our box lights arrive, we'll actually be one-to-one on box lights and teachers' classrooms, also along with SPED, RTI, things like that. It's great technology. It's great for us to have for our teachers. Also, another accomplishment that we do every year, a big, huge Veterans Day assembly. We had over 70 veterans that came, and we had many, many more adults that were there with them. So we were very excited to have a packed gym for that. Successes that we've got going on in our building student-wise. Our TCAP scores, we've been improving year after year, so we're excited about where we're going on that. Also, athletics, again, of course, as a little ball coach, I love to see teams do well and everything in all of Warren County, but our 4th, 5th, and 6th boy basketball team finished the year undefeated. Very excited for them. Had some great players, some great success there. One of the things that our school does very well is Beta Club, Beta Convention. And we have two different Beta Clubs. We have the elementary, which is 4th and 5th grade, and then we have the, 4th and 5th, and then the junior Beta is 6th, 7th, and 8th. In the state competition, we ended up overall with 10 different awards that we won as a school to bring back here to Warren County. In our elementary part, we had a 3rd place in language arts to Ellie Dixon. She's a 5th grader. We finished 2nd place in 4th grade language arts. I went to Pepper Cooper. And then we also had in 4th grade here. I'm sorry, 5th grader, digital art, 1st place, John Kelly Simmons. So that's always great to bring that back. We also had a pottery champion as well on the elementary side. Went to Tylee Harriman. So we had 2 1st place winners here. Then we also had a couple other competitions here. Sculpture, we did 3rd place with Ellie Dixon and a 4th place here in quilling with Maddie Young. So those were 6 award winners in our 4th and 5th grade age range, with 2 of those being 1st place. So we're very excited about that. For our 6th, 7th, and 8th, we had a couple of different ways we could enter. Some of these were what we call club entries, which means there's several students. We finished 5th place as a school in our club for accessorized design for Avery Bolding, Emmy Reed, and Laylee Mullins. And then our trading pen that that they developed and was able to trade around, do the convention, things like it, finished 2nd place down there. And this group was Natalie Heron, Zoe Rodriguez, Layla Mullins, Malia Egerton, Orli, Livesey, Piper Lewis, and Lily Hawkins. And then a couple of individuals that were doing things just by themselves. In junior beta, we had a third place sculpture went to Avery Bolding, and then second place in 7th grade Spanish went to Zoe Rodriguez. So we had 10 different winners and a couple of different first place ones. So that's always exciting. All of these students have basically been have the opportunity now they've qualified for nationals, and we will actually be sending some students in some of these projects to nationals this summer as well. We sent some stuff to nationals back this past summer as well. So this is something we take a lot of pride in. Beta Club, it's a challenge to be in that club and everything because it's high academics. Also, with behavioral things like that. So we're very excited about that. And to kind of close up, I'm very proud of how our students are doing academically. Like I said, I also want to brag on my staff. I feel like I've got a wonderful staff at Eastside. They do a tremendous job. They work hard, and honestly, they make me look better than what I am and everything. So I'm very proud of the group I've got out there. And again, our goal is to be good at everything we do and be the best at everything we do.
Thank you.
Questions?
Do you have any questions for Rex?
Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
The new gym does look great, and I mean, for the morale and everything that you've done out there, Rex, I can't brag on you enough, but you don't have to pay me to say this, but I know the only thing lacking in these sides is a few more bleachers, so when those ball games we're fixing to head out there, so like I say, it gets packed in there real quick.
I'll be doing whatever I can.
On to Hickory Creek.
So what do we got for bleachers? I mean, we can take that wall out, I'm sure. There's a head cash render somewhere.
It gets packed in there real quick, but it does look
That's good.
But we're excited and everything, so I feel like we got it looking sharp there.
I would say, I appreciate Mr. Crabtree and his faculty and staff in welcoming the greenhouse donation from the Rotary Club. It is a partnership, and the Rotary is happy to underwrite the cost of the greenhouse, but to make that work, we have to have willing, able, ready to go faculty and staff, and of course a principal, who are really welcoming of the project, and you all have welcomed the project, and I think we're all going to be thrilled to see it up and running, and students actually.
We're excited. There's several teachers already got plans ready for it.
That's great. I'll pass that along to the Rotary Club. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crabtree. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hickory Creek also has provided a spotlight update for you, and it is in form of video, so I'm going to play that for you. lot of great things happening. I think that you saw a theme as we were at the TSBA conference. You saw a bunch of students from Beta, and Warren County was very, very well represented with a lot of schools, and I'm sure you'll hear more about that. But I think it's important that we spotlight these things that the schools are doing, because so many times we focus on what are our test scores or what are our grades or what are those, and those are extremely important things. But I think you saw a lot of smiling faces and a lot of kids doing a lot of great things in our schools, ones that Mr. Crabtree referenced, and then what you got to see on the video there. So I appreciate the Eastside and Hickory Creek giving us a spotlight tonight. Also here, as a part of your annual calendar, we ask our transportation supervisor, our contract, our manager with Durham Transportation Services, Tanya Rader. Tanya's been before this board several times, and so we've asked her to be here tonight, so we'll recognize her and give her an opportunity to give you all an update. And thank you for being here tonight.
You're welcome. I get nervous too, so don't worry. And you all have to look over me, got this cough going on, but I'm going to try to get through this without coughing. The 2023 Annual Transportation Report. We have 55 routes. 45 of those are regular ed, 10 are special ed. We have 53 active drivers. 4 casual drivers. We have 3 drivers in training. We hired 9 drivers who completed training and have been licensed since January of this year. The 3 drivers in training, 1 is scheduled for their skills test on December the 6th, and the other 2 are in the behind the wheel training process. We have 12 aides, with 5 of these being new. We are currently doubling a few routes due to medical leaves and final training of new hires, but we are thankful that we have not shut any routes down due to staffing issues, and our goal is to not ever have to. We are still actively recruiting for bus drivers. We are offering a sign-on bonus of $1,000 for non-CDL holders, $1,500 for CDL holders with no endorsements, and $2,500 for fully licensed. That's with a Class B CDL with passenger and school bus endorsements. We pay for all training and required testing, drug screening, background, fingerprinting, physical, etc. We do all training in-house by certified trainers. After their background, physical, and drug screen have cleared, we hire them on and begin the ride-along program and their paid training. Plus, this gives them an opportunity to see firsthand what to expect before they begin driving. We would love to talk to anyone who might be interested in a part-time job that works great with their children's schedule. Feel free to call or come by our office, which is located by Warren County Middle School. We would like to thank all parents and students who have worked with us during our doubling times, doubling of routes. Your patience and understanding is greatly appreciated. We have also set up a Facebook page. It is Durham School Services McMinnville, Tennessee. We sent home notes with all the students on our buses, asking parents to like and follow our page so they could be made aware of any updates that would affect their child's bus route. We also contacted the principals too, so they are aware. We post any late bus issues, any routes being doubled, and with which route they will be doubled with. Our goal is to keep everyone updated and informed as much and as soon as possible. I encourage anyone to feel free to call our office at 931-473-8013 with any concerns or issues that we can help you with. Our #1 goal and mission is to get your students to school safely and on time, ready to learn, and then return them safely back to you at the end of each day. The decisions we make are not always the easiest decisions, are they, Grant? Mm-hmm. However, safety will determine each and every decision, every time. Thank you all for letting us serve this great community we call home.
Thank you.
Any questions from the members of the board?
I'd like to say apparently they're doing something right, because you can watch the local news just about early every morning, and a lot of times they'll be announcing that there's a bus route in some county that's not either going to run or it's running late or something. So I think y'all do a good job.
Thank you.
I would just like to say, I rejoice to see these signing bonuses. That's very impressive. I guess the one question, the last time you were here, Tanya, I had that question. I'm just wondering, if you look at the average maximum on the bus time for a student, maximum ride time, I realize there's some outliers, some exceptional cases, those are going to happen, but on average, what's our maximum ride time?
The maximum will be about an hour and a half, and that's in some of my county routes.
Which is by law, the maximum that it can
Yes.
be.
Most of them are gonna average an hour, a little over, but, in the county, you're pulling a lot of miles from one residence to another before you drop off. So, we usually are to the extent there.
Okay. Of course, the other factor in that is the number of students that will be on there for an hour and a half.
Yeah, which is not very many.
Yeah. And I know you're concerned about, and everybody around this table is concerned about, that whatever we could do to reduce that ride time would be welcome. I realize it's a very difficult, maybe an intractable problem. I realize that, but at the same time, compliment you. I would agree with Mr. Judkins that whatever you're doing, it's apparently successful in recruiting and retaining bus drivers while maintaining job one, and that's safety.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, the last item on the operations report in this agenda is the results of the Professional Educators Collaborative Conferencing, PECA, which stands for Professional Educators Collaborative Conferencing Act. There is a law that governs collaborative conferencing throughout the state of Tennessee. You all are aware that 3 years ago we started collaborative conferencing as a board with some members of our professional staff throughout the county. And as of this year, we have come to the end of that particular time. So as prescribed by law, it had to go back for vote. And so at the prior meeting, you all established a special questions committee that was made up of the current PECA collaborative conferencing members. That special questions committee met and discussed how that poll should take place. It is very prescribed in the law of how that's done. However, there are some things that needed to be negotiated or talked about and voted upon, one of which was accepting those professional employees, the list of professional employees that would be taking this poll. The list was made up of just the number of professional employees that are primarily, I think the wording is in the classroom. It's not administrative staff. It's more teachers. And for Warren County for this year, for this cycle, there were 515 professional employees that were surveyed. And so this special question committee determined that they accepted that 515 professional employees would be those that would be surveyed, and it had to be a majority of those surveyed that would answer yes to the question if professional employees of Warren County Schools should undertake collaborative conferencing with the Warren County Board of Education. So half of 515 equated to there needed to be 258 professional employees that voted yes on that question. The Special Question Committee also decided that the poll would open on November the 16th. And it would close on November the 28th. If you remember, that had our Thanksgiving break in between, so it was 2 days before Thanksgiving break. It's 2 days after Thanksgiving break to give our professional employees plenty of time to vote on this poll. It was conducted electronically, and at the end of that, Josh Thaxton was the one that conducted this electronic poll. He took those results, printed them off, put them in a sealed envelope, and then brought them to members of the special question committee for them to open those results and certify those results. That was done on Thursday, November the 30th. Those results have been certified, and I will tell you that The answer to question number 1, shall the professional employees of Warren County Schools undertake collaborative conferencing with the Warren County Board of Education? 193 professional employees voted yes, 4 voted no, and the remainder of the 515 surveyed did not vote. So at that point, that means that the 258 yes votes that threshold was not reached. And so ultimately, at least for the next year, we will not engage in collaborative conferencing. I will say that just as we wrap this portion up, that I was very pleased with our collaborative conferencing that this board and the professional employees did over the course of the last 3 years. If you will remember, they came to you and established an MOU with a incentive for our employees based around sick days. And so I think most of all, though, it was just good to have a committee of professional educators that engaged in this process and worked really hard to represent the interests of our employees. And so I also know that this board has been relentless in its pursuit to make life better for our employees. And so when I reached out to let the Special Question Committee know that the results of the survey, I told them that we would be seeking their input in an advisory role going forward, and I mean that because I think that's important. So I think at this point you all would just need to vote to accept the results of that, and then we'll move forward.
Do I hear a motion to accept the results of the library conference?
Mr. Chairman, also move.
I've got a by Mr. Colwell, motion by Mr. Colwell, I got a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bennett, all in favor? We're got any discussions on that before we move on? Any questions? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That's it from me, Mr. Chairman.
All right, moving on to curricular achievement, we have none, so we have no other business, so do I hear a motion for adjournment?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion by Mr. Colwell,
Second.
second by Mr. Jenkins.